Did they just turn Jin's most emotional song into a marketing stunt? That's the question flooding social media right now, and it's one big hit music can't ignore any longer. During the highly anticipated BTS FESTA 2025, a moment that was supposed to celebrate 12 years of BTS's legacy, fans were left in stunned silence and then rising anger as J-Hope performed The Astronaut, a deeply personal ballad originally written and performed by Jin as his parting gift before enlisting in the military. For many, this was supposed to be a joyful reunion, with Jin and J-Hope, the first two BTS members to complete their military service, taking center stage. But what was meant to be a heartwarming gesture has now spiraled into one of the most emotionally charged controversies in recent BTS history. Originally released in October 2022, The Astronaut was Jin's solo farewell before his military enlistment. Co-written with Coldplay, it told the story of someone being sent far away, a symbolic message from Jin to ARMY. His trembling voice during the live performance in Argentina, his tear-filled eyes, the quiet smiles, all of it became canonized in the hearts of fans. It was his, a timestamp of pain, hope, and love. And now, fans are asking, how did this intimate piece of Jin's heart become a centerpiece in someone else's setlist? While the idea of Concept Switch Ver, where Jin and J-Hope swapped their solo song concepts, was initially met with curiosity, it didn't take long before that curiosity turned to outrage. J-Hope is a brilliant performer, no doubt. But The Astronaut isn't just a song. It's a goodbye letter from Jin. It's sacred to us. One viral tweet read, earning over 300,000 likes in under 24 hours. Netizens are now questioning whether Bighit orchestrated the performance as a deliberate marketing tactic, one that plays on fans' deep emotional attachment to Jin's solo work in order to create buzz, drive engagement, and push merchandise sales tied to the FESTA offline event at Goyang Kintex. Bighit is using our emotions as bait, another fan wrote on Weverse. They're selling nostalgia, but without the soul behind it. J-Hope's talent is not in question. The problem, fans say, lies in the absence of Jin during this emotionally loaded performance. With no video message, no public reaction, and no joint stage to mark this significant switch, fans are beginning to feel that the company intentionally excluded Jin from his own narrative. What if he didn't approve this? One fan asked. What if he's hurt and Bighit told him to stay silent for the bigger picture? The lack of communication from Bighit Music has only worsened the situation. As of now, there's been no official explanation, no behind-the-scenes footage of Jin endorsing the performance, and no personal message from Jin himself to acknowledge the rendition. That silence is deafening. This isn't the first time Bighit has been accused of using emotional cues for commercial benefit, but this particular case cuts deeper because it feels personal. You don't take a soldier's farewell letter and turn it into someone else's costume, wrote one fan. That's not tribute. That's exploitation. The FESTA venue itself has only added fuel to the fire. Multiple booths sell exclusive The Astronaut-themed merchandise, from photo cards to voice messages, but none of them include direct input from Jin. Instead, fans feel that Jin's silence is being monetized. One particularly biting fan comment summed it up. Bighit doesn't need Jin to sing the song anymore. They've already sold his emotions in plastic wrap. BTS FESTA has always been about unity, joy, and honoring the journey of 7 individuals who've grown alongside their fans. But this year, something feels off. The stage was beautiful. The performance was polished. But the emotion? For many, it felt artificial. Because the one person whose voice made The Astronaut so unforgettable wasn't even there to guide the ship. If Jin had appeared, even in the background, even for a second, fans believe this would have felt different. But without him, the performance became something else entirely. A reminder that even in a group known for sincerity and authenticity, corporate decisions can sometimes override artistic truth. As FESTA 2025 continues, all eyes are now on Bighit. Will they issue a statement? Will Jin speak? Or will the silence persist, further deepening the rift between BTS's emotional core and its current public image? Until then, one thing is clear. The stars may still be shining, but the ARMY is watching closely. And this time, they're not just watching with admiration, they're watching with doubt, they're watching with pain, and they're waiting for Jin, not just to sing, but to own his galaxy again. As ARMYs worldwide continue to hold their breath, waiting for Jin's response, the emotional stakes only grow higher. The Astronaut was not merely a song, it was a narrative deeply intertwined with Jin's own fears, his journey into temporary separation from fans, and his quiet resilience in facing one of life's most isolating transitions. mandatory military service. Now, in 2025, just months after returning from that service, Jin finds himself at the center of a storm, not because of his own actions, but due to a silence that fans say is all too familiar in the world of K-pop. The silence of the artist, swallowed by the machinery of the company. The growing suspicion among fans is chilling. Was Jin's consent truly given? Or was he pressured to let J-Hope take the emotional reins of his song for the sake of conceptual balance? That suspicion is not unfounded. Historically, Bighit has tightly controlled the rollout of BTS content, especially surrounding major promotional events like BTS FESTA. Fans recall how Jin's solo promotions in the past, particularly around the astronaut, were minimal and seemed subdued compared to other members. Even his return post-military, while marked with a few bright moments like his Coldplay concert appearance and the launch of his show Run Jin, hasn't been given the full celebration fans feel he deserves. And now, with the spotlight placed squarely on J-Hope singing Jin's most personal song, the absence of Jin's voice, figuratively and literally, is louder than any stage light. No one questions J-Hope's artistic integrity. His performance was vocally strong, visually stunning, and filled with the elegance and control that fans have come to expect from him. But was it his to perform a song like The Astronaut, which so clearly embodies Jin's spiritual dialogue with ARMY, can't simply be passed along like a costume or a concept? And yet, that's how it felt to many viewers watching BTS FESTA 2025's highlight stage. Watching J-Hope sing it, I kept waiting for Jin to appear. And when he didn't, I felt something sink inside me, one fan wrote. I didn't realize how much I needed Jin to own that moment. Another fan posted side-by-side clips of Jin's original The Astronaut live performance in Buenos Aires versus J-Hope's rendition at FESTA, highlighting the nuanced emotions, the fragility in Jin's voice, and the genuine tears in his eyes, none of which were present in J-Hope's version. J-Hope looked like he was trying to honor Jin, but it became obvious that only Jin could make this song feel the way it was meant to. The caption read, "As discussions grow louder, a recurring theme emerges. This is not the first time Jin's agency within BTS has felt restricted. From his underpromoted solo efforts to delayed variety show appearances, and now the questionable absence from his own emotional masterpiece, fans are beginning to connect the dots. I love BTS with all my heart," one veteran fan shared. "But I'm not blind to what's happening. Jin is always the one who sacrifices, who steps back, who waits.
Why?
Why is the eldest, who carried them through so much, always the one fading into the background?" When BTS debuted in 2013, they were hailed as the idol group that broke the mold. 7 individuals who defied expectations, embraced vulnerability, and stayed fiercely connected to their fans. But in 2025, the illusion is starting to crack. If one member's most intimate song can be handed over without proper context, what does that say about the promises BTS once made? About always being genuine, transparent, and present? I feel like they broke an emotional contract with us. Another fan wrote, "We didn't just fall in love with BTS because of their music. We fell in love because we trusted their sincerity. And now, that sincerity feels sold." The emotional betrayal is palpable. Thousands of fan accounts have changed their profile pictures to Jin's original The Astronaut cover. Some have even launched boycott campaigns against FESTA merchandise until an official statement is released from Bighit. Despite the emotional avalanche surrounding the issue, Jin has remained quiet. His personal channels haven't updated. No behind-the-scenes clips have been shared. No voice message or FESTA video commentary. And this silence is beginning to feel more intentional, or perhaps enforced. Fans are now wondering, is Jin even allowed to speak right now? That question lingers with a bitter chill. Because if the answer is no, then the controversy has deeper roots than a single performance. It would mean that even the most senior BTS member, someone who carried this group with unwavering maturity and humor, is not in control of his own narrative. In the end, The Astronaut was never meant to spark conflict. It was a lullaby, a message, a memory. But the moment that message was reshaped without the presence of its original sender, it became something else, a reflection of how, even in the most beloved fandoms, commercial control can sometimes override emotional truth. And for BTS, whose legacy has always been built on sincerity, that's not just a controversy, it's a crisis. Now, ARMY waits. But the question remains, will Bighit allow that voice to speak freely? Or will they continue orchestrating narratives that look polished on the outside but feel hollow beneath the surface? For fans who have stood by BTS for over a decade, this moment feels like a crossroads, not just for Jin, but for the integrity of the group itself. The intimacy of BTS has always been built on mutual understanding between artist and fan. When that bridge begins to crumble, when a song as deeply personal as The Astronaut is performed without the artist's visible involvement, that connection begins to fracture, and it's not about fan entitlement. It's about respect. Respect for art, respect for emotion, and most of all, respect for the artist who poured his soul into every note. A legacy at risk. Jin isn't just any member. He's BTS's eldest. The one who so often carried burdens in silence, joked to lift the group's spirit, and stepped aside to let others shine. Yet, through it all, he remained the anchor, emotionally consistent, quietly reliable, and endlessly devoted. When fans saw The Astronaut, his most heartfelt song, a letter of goodbye, love, and longing, used in a context that didn't center him, something broke. Not because J-Hope isn't capable, not because the performance wasn't beautiful, but because it felt like Jin's story was told without him. A legacy isn't just built on success. It's built on truth. And for Jin, who rarely demanded the spotlight, whose humility endeared him to millions, the silence from his own label feels like a betrayal of everything BTS was meant to stand for. The psychological toll on Jin, what few are daring to ask, but many are beginning to suspect, is this: what does Jin feel about all this? If he truly supported the switch, where was the message, the video, the explanation? If it was his idea, why hasn't he spoken to fans? If he's okay with it, why does he look so distant in recent appearances? The truth is, fans are worried. Not just angry, not just confused, but genuinely worried. Because when someone as emotionally intelligent and expressive as Jin suddenly goes quiet, especially around a song that meant everything to him, the silence becomes deafening. Could he be hurt? Did he feel replaced? Was he given a choice? Or was he, once again, playing the good soldier, smiling for the sake of harmony while his emotions were quietly shelved? These are not easy questions, but they are necessary ones. Because if BTS is to move forward, together and authentically, then every member's voice must be heard. Especially the ones that have been quieted for too long. The fans' role in holding the line arm-wise are not strangers to fighting for their members. They've raised awareness during scandals, demanded justice when labels failed, and uplifted their idols when the world tried to drag them down. But this time, the battle is internal, within the very family fans thought they could trust. Petitions are circulating. Fan projects are underway. Online campaigns are calling for Bighit to release a statement, for Jin to be allowed to speak, for The Astronaut to be performed by Jin again, this time with the weight, the emotion, and the ownership it deserves. Because it's not just about one performance, it's about narrative control. It's about agency. It's about whether BTS members are allowed to claim and protect their own legacies. And right now, it feels like Jin's legacy is being shaped without his full participation. The Astronaut was not just a song. It was Jin's final gift before leaving for military duty, a symbolic moment where he told fans, "I'm leaving, but my heart stays with you." That moment was historic, emotional, devastatingly beautiful. Coldplay co-wrote the track. Jin cried on stage. Armies cried in the stands. The world watched with its breath held tight. Now, watching someone else stand in that spotlight, even someone as talented and beloved as J-Hope, feels like watching someone else read your private diary on stage. It wasn't just a switch of concept. It was a removal of context. And in doing so, Bighit may have stripped The Astronaut of its soul.